Batman intro.
Hello, and welcome to the first episode of GWP, also known as Game World Podcast. And today I am joined by Iron Warrior 20, Rip Combat 45, and Sniper Ace 815.
Hello.
I will be posting all their social medias down in the description, but first I just want to start off to let everyone know that for this week that there will be 2 games that will be worth $50 for free on the Epic Game Store if you have a PC, so you should go ahead and check that out. But we want to first start off for our topics, starting with the whole Halo Infinite delay situation, and just what we think about it. So
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about it.
Okay, that's
Reasoning just doesn't make any sense.
I mean, I understand the whole the graphical situation where everyone's kind of mad about it, especially if you're an Xbox fan, right? And Halo is a very
Big franchise, I would
big
say.
franchise. Yeah, it's been drawn out a lot in my opinion, and I don't know. What is your guys' opinion on Halo? I know Bill here, or Iron Warrior, said he really didn't give a shit about it, but
Until Halo 4 happens, but yeah.
I do have the Halo collection. When I first played Halo, it's not really bad.
Mm-hmm.
It has this good story where it's because it's very well put out in a way, because the story is because it's just a story likes to combine into a good timeline loop.
Yeah, and also the game. If say you didn't play the first one and you go into the third one, you can understand a little bit of the story, even if you didn't play the other games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I have the collection right now, and I want to get the 5th one soon. And once I'm done with the first, I'm still stuck.
So here I'm actually gonna read the article that they have here on the Polygon.com, and Phil actually said this all in Animal Crossing interview. Xbox boss talks about the decision to delay Halo Infinite. Xbox chief Phil Spencer appeared on Gary Whitta's Animal Crossing talk show on Wednesday night following the announcement of Halo Infinite's delay. He spoke a bit about the decision to delay the game on the show, which he said was his call to make. Halo Infinite will no longer be released in November alongside Microsoft's next generation console, the Xbox Series X. A new release date was not immediately given, only that it's now coming in 2021. He said the decision won't impact other launch plans, however. Spencer said Microsoft and 343 Industries started talking about the decision late last week. After going over certain options, like shipping parts of the game separately, ultimately, however, Spencer said that just wasn't the right fit for a game like Halo Infinite. A delay was the most fitting decision. Microsoft announced Halo Infinite's delay on Tuesday. Multiple factors were cited for the delay, according to the announcement, like the ongoing COVID-related impacts. So, they say it's COVID-related impacts, right? Do you guys think it's more than just a COVID-related issue going on here, or?
Well, the game looks ready, and it also was being created before this happened. So I don't think it has to deal with COVID.
Okay, well, see, this is the thing I'm thinking in mind. You know how Last of Us 2 was delayed, but then people started hating on it just because of how bad the
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's gonna happen to Halo, that it's gonna do the same concept. I hope not. But yeah.
Yeah, I personally think I don't think it has to do with. I think it does have something to do with COVID. I mean, if you look at the Mafia 1 remake, they said it got pushed back due to COVID related issues. I don't think it's because of that. I think because when you look at the like the gameplay trailer that they had put out, it just didn't look ready, right? And I think that's the same thing that's happening with Halo Infinite here. I just think it's just not ready, in my opinion. You know, it's just I think they need more time before they're ready to release this game.
Yeah, I can see why, because of how people are saying the graphics look downgraded or something. Like, okay, because see, with Watch Dogs 1, right? Well, this is an example because this relates to how people are talking about Halo. Is that, like, when you see a trailer of a good game, like Halo, you expect it to be, like, high graphics and stuff. But, like, when they showcased it, it didn't look like that. It just looked downgraded.
Yeah.
And it's like, goddamn. But then people still like to play it anyway. But other than that, yeah. That's all I have to say about that.
And like, yeah, I get what you're saying, and like, following up with that, like, what does next gen look like? You know, and like, what would be one's expectation for a next gen game?
Yeah.
And reading here on the article, criticism had followed the game's initial gameplay trailer. Many players called it outdated or not next gen enough. So,
yeah.
You know, that's like a issue that could be, you know, like talked about in a whole other podcast.
Yeah, because when it comes to next gen, right, it has to be like the graphics have to be like a bit more better in some way, I would say. Like you know how PS4 was with their graphics, and then and it's supposed to exceed that.
Yeah, and like like games that like I would say like shit, like this game looks like a next gen game would probably be something like The Last of Us Part 2. Like that game graphically is just it's astounding, you know? It's just, and it's like it's not really up, like it's up to the developers on how they make their games, right? Like how much effort goes into making a next gen game, you know? And it's a lot more work that needs to be done, and looking at Halo Infinite, to me it just does not look next gen, you know. So like Iron Warrior, what's your opinion on it? Like what to you will look like a next gen game?
Well, let's see. Well, I guess because this is a new console, it would be like has a lot better graphics, of course. Other than that, it's just mainly the graphics.
Yeah.
So like
next gen for Xbox.
Yeah, like
so it would mostly be like the console side, because I don't think they'll change for next gen. I don't think they'll change much of a controller.
You can't change much with gameplay. You cannot change much with storytelling. That just depends on every single game. But the graphic wise, it should be a bit better. Unless it's like a cross-gen game, like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which is gonna be on Xbox One and Series X. So,
I mean, I guess the other thing they will look into would probably be like not having problems or bugs. I guess that's what they would also look for, especially since it's going to be a next gen.
Yeah, like I truly understand what you're saying. Like, you know, there's only so much that can be done in certain aspects of creating a game, you know, and one big, not an issue per se, but like one thing that does need to be changed is like graphical wise, right? There's just there's so much that can be changed or done about it. And I just think that as time progresses, I don't know how much big of a jump we're gonna make graphically, right? Because when you look at certain games this gen, like you could just think to yourself, like, can this get even better, right? Or are we just gonna be making games like Halo Infinite, And don't get me wrong, the game still does look good in some aspects, right? But it's just, I think I get what people are angry about. It just doesn't look next gen enough. And like, you can also make the argument of, it's Xbox compared to a PlayStation, right? But I think it mostly depends on the developer and what the developer does with their game.
Also, side note. Also, this would be good to mention that because of how our eyes perceive next gen and how we perceive graphics and art, because this jump to the next isn't that big because we are used to that kind of graphics, and kind of upgrade that is kind of a bit more like rubbish. We can't really tell that much, but
Yeah, like, I know the human eye can only see so far as of going beyond 4K, right?
Yes.
Like, you can only see a certain amount of pixels on the screen. It also depends on the size of the screen that's, withholding these amount of pixels, right?
Yes.
So, like, it's like when you see, like, the PlayStation 5 and also the Xbox Series X having, or Xbox Series, it's having these 8K graphics now are being supported. Like, do you think that's something that's really needed? Especially how most households still only have 1080p monitors, right?
Look, 8K doesn't matter because like you just need your skill to be good. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, some people might want graphics over performance, right?
Well, it depends on the game too, because like if you're playing something like Siege or Overwatch where you need performance over graphics, I would say that would be a lot better to like
Yeah. Okay.
you know what I mean.
Yeah, like certain games, yeah, but they do have, like, for instance, they have 4K televisions that runs at 120 hertz, right?
Well, it's good to have, but
Yeah, I mean, but my argument is, see, me, I'm more or less a balanced player. I'm more on the side of graphically, right? Like graphic wise, like I want a game that looks good. I want a gorgeous game. Horizon Zero Dawn was a beautiful game, right? But the thing I'm trying to say here is, does 8K really matter?
no,
No.
it doesn't.
What do you guys think?
No, I don't think it really matters.
No, doesn't matter.
I interrupted.
No, it's fine. Yeah, I think it really depends on the player, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it should, but to me, I don't really care about 8K.
Because like, if you're yeah, you go.
Yeah, to me, when it comes to most games, it should sometimes depend on the player, because that's the thing. Player feedback is also a good thing in games too, because that's how the game improves and stuff like that.
Yeah, and like we're really talking about graphics right now, right? Like,
yeah,
and like, yeah, you could say how like 8K really doesn't matter, but if we're talking about we want to expand graphically in video games, do you think that's when it really matters? to have the higher resolution, but then again, it's the fact that can our eyes really perceive 8K?
Okay. Okay. Next gen, it could be 8K. It could be an 8K game if it's one, but the only problem with it is just like, can we see it, or can we tell the difference between 4K and 8K?
Yeah. And here we have joining us is Ghost Roaster. Say what's up, Ghost.
What's up?
So right now we're talking about someone has an echo.
That's not me.
What's up, man?
Okay, it's gone now, I think. Yep. So right now we're just discussing about does 8K resolution really matter when it comes to next gen gaming?
Yeah, when it comes to graphics, it really, well, I mean, because to me, it's like, because when it comes to me playing games, I don't really focus on graphics so much. I usually just focus on the story and aspect of how it plays. Because yes, graphics is good in the game, but it's also because of how it plays, and also like how it's detailed and stuff too. Because yeah, people like detailed things, I suppose, and that when it comes to other games that people make, people would like a good story, or a story that actually is satisfying to the players, and that it gives them like good feedback to make another one, or probably just make a different game.
Yeah, and like if you talk about certain like delays in video games, right? Like how a lot of games nowadays are getting delayed a lot, like heavily, like especially from what happened with The Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah.
Like it got delayed so much, and a lot of that delay was because I think there was a lot more to be, like a lot more polishing to be done in that game, right? According to to Naughty Dog, there was a lot more like polishing to be done. But then I'm like, okay, so are you guys either focusing on the graphics, or are you going to focus on the story? Now, we all have different opinions on the story, but like in certain games, there's like, like I really want to play this game for the story or for the graphics, Like I really want to play this game. Let me rephrase that. But I really want to play this game. But am I going to really play it for the story, or am I going to really play it for the graphics?
Yeah, because that's the thing. Not everyone wants to just play a game just for graphics. There's people that want to play it just because of like seeing a good story.
Yeah.
Because there are some games that have good graphics but can be like laggy or buggy or not even have a good story, and then they fail.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So like the story can very much rely on how graphically it is performing, right?
No.
Well,
It doesn't include the story and graphics. It also includes like how you play the game, how you can interact in the game.
Okay.
It's based off of control.
Here's the thing: graphics doesn't really matter when it comes to story, because like.
So you telling me you want to play a game that's an 8-bit?
Yeah, like 8-bit game.
Yeah,
We got Pac-Man, we got Link.
Yeah, but that's not really a story-heavy game, right?
I mean, the story was just to save the princess.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Pac-Man, it was just to get rid of and stuff.
So I mean, the graphics can look shitty, but the story can be great.
Yeah, so that way,
especially when it's an older game as well.
Yeah.
Because like, we don't have great game back in the day, but it's just like, great graphics-wise game, but they do have good story.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just
Look how
saying,
big
like,
they went, that's why.
now since we have the technology to make games look better,
I think we
like,
should use.
say it again.
I think we should use our technology to make games better because you could have a really good story or whatever, but if the game looks like it just
Die.
like 8-bit or something,
Yeah, and I get it
it's
that like,
probably gonna lose.
Yeah, I can see why graphics may come like as a part of gaming. Okay, because let's say for example, food, right? Okay, let's say video games is like a food. You're trying to make sure the appearance like looks very good, so that way the people will want the food more. So it's basically like if the graphics are better and a lot more, that means like people will buy it more. I guess even with great taste, flavor, and then the taste and flavor is like the story and the mechanics. And it's like, yeah, that's what will get people to buy it for. I guess is how I can the graphic side is. Yeah, it's like because video games are like a food. You're trying to make sure its appearance is very well done, and that you make sure that the taste and the flavor is like stunning to your mouth to the point where you really want to eat more of it.
okay, I could kind of see that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of games that example of it, like Call of Duty, of course, and other games like Battle Royale stuff, and it's like, damn.
I know that Mister can probably also back me up on how I play games because we've played some games together. Like whenever I'm in a game, I'm a graphics person, but I mean games like Red Dead and
Yeah.
let's just say Last of Us 2. Those have really good graphics, so when you play a game with good graphics, it's more likely to appease people and get more follows.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
You
And,
see, like, also the mechanics too in a game, and also its story. Because
Yeah.
yes, graphics is one thing, but also it's based on how the story mechanics are. You
Yeah,
can't
like
only.
that's why I bought a PC, right? Like most of my games are no longer bought on console, right? If it's a game that's available across all platforms, right? I most likely am getting that game on PC because it's going to overall look better than a console game, right? Because
Well, yeah, that's the point.
I thought
Yeah,
the
but-
PS5
NPC.
to be the graphics better than a PC.
Okay, because the way PC is able to like make their graphics better is based on the hard drive they have.
yeah, I mean, yeah, PCs will always be ahead of the console game. That's just how it's always been, right? You come out with a PS5, they're gonna come out with the RTX 3000.
Yeah.
You know, they're always gonna stay ahead of consoles. That's just how it is.
I think the reason why people like graphics is because people like very realistical and detailed things.
Yeah.
And that's something I can agree with, is that with graphics it's really good to see some details. And that's the bright aspect.
And yeah, like I'm thinking about like how, like, do you really think do you really need to, like, going back to the core like question here about us delaying games for graphic reasons, right? Like, and then Rep Combat said how say it again, how you said it when he was talking about
like what about the story or about how the game
how
works?
graphics might work on for the story.
I mean, I guess in a way, I guess I forgot who said this. Somebody said this earlier. Like graphics, I guess, or the story, I guess, relies on the graphics
I said that.
of the game.
Yeah.
So
Because
do we really think
I mean, to delay something for graphics, that could be fixed like in an update or in a patch. So I wouldn't say that's a big deal.
But then
which is why
how many patches are you going to make?
I know that's
See,
the
like
other thing.
that's an issue with like Modern Warfare, right?
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
put out so many updates on a game, and it ruins the fun for it because we're always updating the game, right?
Yeah.
So then you're
It's
like,
hella huge, and that's why people don't like the updates.
I wish
Is that too huge?
the main
Maybe
reason for that is because of how Warzone is in there, and people keep finding bugs and stuff. So they're like, okay, we're gonna update this patch.
yeah, and like
Yeah.
it just
If
just
they
gets
have
annoying.
games together,
Make the game as well.
Yeah.
The side they should have fixed that like while they were making it, I guess too.
Hmm.
And it shouldn't be like huge damn updates. It should be like small updates, not huge ones.
Yeah, and like
Yeah, I guess.
so like that's another issue right there. Like then again, like a delayed game is a better game, right?
Well,
I mean,
for Last of Us 2, it didn't real like it's okay. I'm not gonna back. I don't want to back too much on Last of Us 2, but with Last of Us 2, like even though it was delayed and that its graphics got better, they didn't really like focus on the story so much. It was just only graphics, and I think that's what made people a lot angry about it because they think that the story writing was lazy. I guess maybe a little bit, maybe not, but
Okay, that's
and that
another
it didn't
thing.
really fit the way of how the story should have ended.
Well, Cyberpunk is doing this as well.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we all know the
Cyberpunk
we
also
all know
got
the game is like ready. It's just that they gotta like bug fix, bug test, bug fix it. You know.
Hold on, let's stop right there for a second. I need to stop the recording.
Okay, but let's see where. Oh, okay.
All right, what were we just talking about?
We were talking about
Delays.
yeah,
and he was talking about The Last of Us Part 2.
Oh yeah, and like
Yeah.
how like the story wasn't really like, you know,
like they didn't really focus on story. They only focused on like the graphics.
graphics. Yeah, and that's another thing. Like
The
you
thing that
have
affects games.
yeah, you have a company that works so hard on their game, right? They work, and that's another issue we could also get into, and that's crunch culture.
Yeah,
And it's the issue of you work your workers so hard to a point where some of them actually have to go to the hospital, right?
yeah,
Some of them lose their families over it. Some of them, they just overall get sick, like I said. But you work them so hard, but now you're either losing money because of the story, or two, you're just the workers.
Reviews or things are going down.
Yeah, like so.
Or even workers are leaving, like you were about to say.
Yeah, so like, again, it's to that core question: does graphics really matter? But then, you look at it like,
where they depend on story.
yes, do you depend on your story or do you depend on your graphics? Because I bet you, if the story was good, the other way around would be like, this game sucks because there's so many bugs in it. For instance, look at Doom Eternal. Did you see the reviews? The reviews plummeted because of the anti-cheat that they put out.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
So, what's the issue there?
We need a game. We need a game that isn't too.
Oh, for that game specifically, I would say the FPS went down and people doesn't like it. When the FPS goes down.
I mean, another way to think about, I guess, graphics, I guess you could put the example of a movie. Like, say a person made a great movie, but they focused too much on the action that a little bit of the story popped up. Or say you were focusing too much on a certain topic that there was less action or less something of a movie. I guess you could say that's similar to a game. If it has less graphics but a good story, they might like it, but if it has great graphics but a horrible story, it might do the opposite outcome.
Okay. So, like, I honestly, for me, it's like it has to have good graphics because why do you buy games, right?
Yeah.
Like, do I buy a game to watch a movie, or do I buy a game to play a
But doesn't
game?
it also depend on the game? For example,
Yeah, but if you look at something like Death Stranding, right? A
yeah.
lot of that game is just cinematics, and just it was
Okay,
basically,
here. Okay, a game is also a game, so it gotta be fun. Okay.
right? Yeah, it has to have good gameplay.
I'm sorry, I'm still off topic, but how? Another thing, they better be updating the graphics for GTA 5 when it comes on the PS5 because I don't know why this is like a 4-year game and it's coming over from Xbox. First, I was on Xbox 360, and it came over to PS4, and now it's on the PS5. They're probably doing a graphic bug or something, but why aren't they just working on PS5 6 or on GTA 6?
I know,
No,
and
that game 10 years later, that game will still be in making.
Cause like if you look at the trailer, it says enhanced for PS5 or whatever. It's enhanced for next gen, right?
Yeah.
But how enhanced are you gonna make it, right? If I'm gonna buy this game for a third generation, right?
Yeah.
This thing better look like something like Red Dead, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna continue buying your game unless you prove to me this is truly a next gen remaster that you're making.
Well, GTA 6 should be made, not GTA 5 remastered.
And I heard they are making GTA 6, but
Yeah.
like I just.
But that won't come out in a while.
Yeah. No, what? Yeah.
So like,
Sorry.
do you guys really? Are you going to get Grand Theft Auto 5 on the next gen?
I mean,
Well, okay. Here's the
Probably
thing
not.
about GTA. Yeah, because
No.
Probably
GTA. No, I'm sorry to say that should have been GTA 6 from the get go. It shouldn't be like another remastered on.
I'm gonna get the
PS5.
disc. The disc drive, PS5.
The
No,
disc drive?
Yes, because I have GTA 5 on disc, so I can do it backwards compatible that way.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah,
there's
but
no.
I don't know if they're gonna actually make it like free. It didn't really. They didn't really explain that.
Yeah, they just said they're gonna come there. They didn't say if it's gonna be free.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, is that it makes no sense why GTA 5 had to be on the PS5 instead of making a new game. They had all this money from shark cards and stuff, and they should have been on GTA 6.
Man, like I just hope microtransactions.
I don't know,
Like
really,
I don't want that issue with microtransactions to come to next gen, right? I want that eradicated. I do not want that.
Eradicate the next gen mod of microtransaction.
Yeah, like wow.
What?
Microtransactions.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing with microtransactions. It's really mostly there just for people who want to get it easily,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Look, okay, because there's those people that work hard in games, and that's fine. Like, people can work hard or either buy their stuff just because they want it so badly.
Uh-huh.
That's it. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When it comes to most games, microtransactions can be a problem.
Uh-huh.
Just because of how it is. But for some other games, like maybe GTA or Red Dead, yeah, that's where microtransactions are kind of like acceptable because of how expensive stuff are.
Okay. So do you think that like if we were we got so off topic there, but if we were to see, like, and that's also another issue that happened with Red Dead Redemption 2 with Rockstar Games when it came down to crunch culture. Do you think it would be better if they cut down on the amount of time that they worked on the graphics and worked more on the story, and you have to deal with those updates that they're putting out? Would you be happy with that?
I probably would be.
You would?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
I wouldn't either. Because
I
I'm
probably would.
already pissed off enough with Call of Duty Modern Warfare and the updates that they're putting out on that game, right? And it's just it gets so overwhelming sometimes, and it just gets annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw how it runs at max graphics. It's laggy.
But yeah, with Red Dead Redemption 2, the story, it's very good.
Yeah.
Just
story
Yeah,
is
story is well done.
yeah, the story was actually like how it should have lined up.
Yep.
The online needs work.
Yeah, the online does
Yeah.
need work though.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna lie, at least they had a good story. Like, I just need to work, making it more, what you say, like, I guess more popular is how I'd say it. Because that's why that's why all of a sudden GTA 5 is gonna be on the PS5. It's because of how, like, GTA 5 has been more successful than anything.
Yeah, like, I mean, of course,
And
because
people
no
have been
game is going to be perfect,
No,
Yeah.
no game.
and that's the full honest truth.
I mean, I get that. Like, there's not going to be a game where everyone lives. I mean, someone's going to have to die in a game. Like, that's that's what I mean. But like, it's just when it comes to games too, because people want to be satisfied and think that that the game was actually worth playing, and not just buy a game where it wasn't really worth playing at all, and that it actually was enjoyable.
And you see, the thing is, with going back to The Last of Us Part 2, I had so much fun playing that game, right? And me personally, I liked the story, and a lot of people did not like that story.
Yeah,
Because-
well, most of the conversation we're having is compared to thousands of other people.
Yeah, because the reason why I think people didn't like Last of Us 2 was because of how the story did not really add up, and that the goal set was not really achieved because of how. Okay, because because there's gonna be. Is it okay if I spoil something? Some of them or no?
I guess.
Like, can I spoil some of The Last of Us 2? I think or no?
How about no, just in case someone didn't play it. I know Ghost
Okay,
didn't finish it, so you
I
just
like the goal setting.
just put it out of context, and I'll the people will know what you're talking about.
Shit. I think I know how to do that. Okay, let's do another. Okay, but yeah, like, okay, because once you play Last of Us 2, you're gonna see why. Well, okay, because when people hate it, it's just they want the story to add up, and I don't think Last of Us 2's story never really added up at all, and that's why people are disliking it, because they're not satisfied at how it is. I mean, that's why all those leaks of Last of Us 2 were out, because of those hackers that last time.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like, you work so hard on something, and then just to have it, out there spoiled, and it kind of like it honestly it sucks. Yeah, and like you work so hard on something just to have it, having it out there, and like you work so hard on something,
But yeah, because it's always good sometimes to have surprises, in a video game. Because the more surprised you are in a game, the more enjoyable and the more fun and the more excitement you have for it, and that people will start buying it because of how surprised you are and how it impacts the player itself on how the game.
So you're talking about like shock value?
Shown. Huh?
Talking about shock value?
Yeah. Because the more shock factor in a game impacts the player, the more people will want to buy it and then feel that same emotion, I guess, in a way.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to go.
All right.
All right.
See you.
But yeah, it's just because mostly it's based on shock value too, because like unexpected deaths in the game, because we can't have a video game where there's no deaths at all.
Yeah,
I mean, there could be some games where no one dies, but eventually in games there will be someone that does die in a game.
Yeah, and
they can't live forever unless they make them immortal.
That's
with
any story, but a lot of people's issues with this story was the way a certain character was killed off.
Yeah.
And I could somewhat get behind that, but should we look at it as if this is not our story to tell?
I mean, yes, for us, the player should also have the right to have someone die in a good way and in such a damn terrible way.
Let's face it.
But yeah, like I said, because most stuff because I mean, I get the developer is like, you guys can't decide because this is the game we make, but then again, also the players can also decide too, because that's how the game becomes better, because of feedback.
And then I think the way I think about it is like, so like, do we look back at the delays and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
The way I see it as if a lot of the delays are made for money reasons, right?
Yeah.
It's not for the players. It's not for the the people, the wellness of the people. In my opinion, it's not for the wellness of the people. As if they're saying COVID-19 is all a money game, right? You delay a game because it's going to affect how much money you're going to make.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, if you're delaying something, you better hope like you're spending that time making the game better instead of making it like not very well, and also that it's not really impacting a lot of gamers.
Well, more or less like the delay in like COVID-19, like per se, like I believe The Last of Us 2 was mostly delayed for money reasons, right?
Yeah. Well, it basically feels that way because of how it turned out and how the feedback was. Because without good feedback, a game can't become better.
Actually, because of the leaks they released earlier, I think.
Well, that too. The leaks were... Well, actually, yeah, because the leaks were mostly that. Because people did hate on it already when the leaks came out. But then once it came out, people hated it even more when it was true. Because they thought they were going to change it. Yes, I don't know.
Okay.
But for the players, they just didn't like feedback. When it comes to a game, it's okay to have some bad feedbacks about it, but when it comes to a game, it also means to have a lot of good feedback from players themselves who played the game and enjoyed it and also liked it a lot, and that they want to see more of what happens next.
Okay.
You see, because I hope with Last of Us 2, I hope they do get a DLC where it actually makes like Last of Us 1.
Someone's background?
Yeah. But yeah, a video game is just... Yeah, because video games could have... Well, I would say that video games can have both graphics and a good story.
Okay. So, how about we talk about our next topic here?
What do we got?
Okay. So, from PC Gamer, Epic Games sues Apple over monopolistic practices.
Yeah, I was shocked when I heard this.
Okay. So, it says here, Epic doesn't want money, but it does want to break Apple's monopoly on iOS apps and payment.
In other ways, Epic Games wants to sue Apple, basically.
Yes.
That's why I was shocked to hear this.
It's been a big day for Epic Games. It started off with a new payment system in Fortnite that bypassed Apple and its 30% fee, offering players a discount if they purchase directly. Huh.
Oh, what the hell?
Yeah.
So,
that's like a
So basically, they were trying to give discounts for certain players that they really didn't have the authorization to do.
Yeah.
So The system contravened Apple's App Store policies, and it responded quickly and aggressively by removing Fortnite from the App Store entirely. So Apple just straight up said, "Screw you! You're getting out of here." You just straight up, you defied, just no, you're out. Epic apparently anticipated this, as very shortly after the removal of Fortnite, it announced a new Fortnite Party Royale short.
How can you anticipate someone removing your game from? How does that make any sense? Honestly, you have to be a time traveler to anticipate a big ass company.
Yeah.
When you get to a game like Fortnite, which gets popular due to like a battle royale, I guess you have to think of like people trying to not rip you off, but like maybe rip you off, but also rip your players off, that they might like affect both your game and how much money you would make from it. I guess. 1984 was the same year that I guess Apple did the same thing to a different company.
Because Apple. Wait, I don't know what company it was. There was something with Mac.
I don't remember what it was, but Apple like made a video about a different company that's basically doing this they're doing right now.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's what's the fuck, man.
1980 Fortnite
is what I'm trying to say, man.
Yeah, I have.
Sorry, guys. Let me just finish this last sentence. 1980 Fortnite, a play on Apple's famous 1984 ad for the Macintosh.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they made a short, basically, it was a play on the 1984 ad for the Macintosh, correct?
Yes, it was. Have you seen the videos? What I'm trying to tell you, what I'm saying, or MR?
I can see the okay. But the video isn't just a playful stunt. Just minutes after all that happened, Epic announced that it has filed a legal action against Apple.
Yep.
Epic Games has filed, and then Fortnite tweeted, Epic Games has filed legal papers in response to Apple. Read more here, and I'll leave a link to all the articles down in the description, and you could click on that whatsoever. The lawsuit available at that link begins by pointing out that the same 1984 ad, which it says cast Apple as a beneficial revolutionary force breaking IBM's monopoly over the computing technology market. Now, however, Apple has become what it once railed against, the behemoth seeking to control markets, blocking competition, and stifle innovation.
Yep.
Well, yeah, because Apple was known for having high like phones, I guess. And that I guess Apple made a lot of technology that people like having and wanted.
So it's basically just them taking a shot out of the dark, right?
Yeah.
Specifically, the lawsuit accuses Apple of using anti-competitive restraints and monopolistic practices in both the distribution of software and the processing of payments on iOS devices.
Well, okay. Well, I don't know. Do they have evidence of that? Is my question as well.
Yes. Yes, they do.
Yeah. That makes sense too.
At the same time, it notes developers on other Apple hardware, such as Macs and MacBooks, are free to operate in an open market using external stores or direct downloads with a variety of payment options and more competitive processing fees. The lawsuit goes into deep detail on the steps Epic believes Apple takes to maintain its hold on the iOS market and users of its hardware, and makes 10 separate allegations, including unlawful monopoly maintenance, denial of essential faculty, and unreasonable restraints of trade. Interestingly, it also specifies that Epic is not looking for money, it just wants to break Apple's grip. So I'm gonna play here the video that they.
Today celebrates the anniversary of the platform unification directives. For years they have
I found it pretty interesting how that video went. I mean, I remember what that.
in exchange,
Or like
we
the rep.
have taken our tribute, our
That was like
profits, our control. This power is ours and ours alone. We shall prevail.
Oh wow! I just saw the video. Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
I saw it.
I'm seeing it right now still.
Yeah.
Epic brings this suit to end Apple's unfair and anti-competitive actions that Apple undertakes to unlawfully maintain its monopoly in two distinct multi-billion-dollar markets: the iOS app distribution market and the iOS in-app payment processing market, the lawsuit says. Epic is not seeking monetary compensation from this court for the injuries it has suffered, nor is Epic seeking favorable treatment for itself, a single company. Instead, Epic is seeking injunctive relief, to allow fair competition in these two key markets that direct affect hundreds of millions of consumers and tens of thousands, if not more, of third-party app developers. The lawsuit also makes clear, in case that there was any doubt, that Epic started this fight with a purpose. It specifically references Apple's removal of Fortnite from the App Store in response to the new payment system. Rather than tolerate this healthy competition and compete on the merits of its offering, Apple's responded by removing Fortnite from sale in the Apple Store, which means that new users cannot download the app, and users who have already downloaded prior versions of the app from the App Store cannot update to its latest version, the lawsuit states. This also means that Fortnite players who downloaded their app from the App Store would not receive updates to Fortnite through the App Store, either automatically or by searching the App Store for the update. Apple's removal of Fortnite is yet another example of Apple flexing its enormous power in order to impose unreasonable restraints and unlawful maintain its 100% monopoly over the iOS in-app payment processing market. We'll continue to follow this story and update when its information is forthcoming. So yeah.
Okay. Based on what I heard about the article, I can see why now that it's a really big problem with Apple. Of course, because that's the thing. There always has to be competition when it comes to stuff, because that's how new products are made. Without competition, you can't really improve your product.
Yeah.
And that people won't be able to buy them.
Like for instance, without a doubt, PlayStation, or you can even add PC in there, but PlayStation, PC, and Xbox, they're all at competition with each other. One way or another, they're always going back and forth at each other, right? And
that's the thing. There's always going to be competition, no matter what console or what stuff it is. You just need something that's better than your competition.
So, in your opinion, do you think this issue between Apple, Fortnite, and Epic Games, Epic Games and Apple, do you think this is a reasonable action that Apple is taking?
Yeah, I feel like after you reading it, I feel like it mostly led towards it kind of is reasonable, because you need competition in order to improve on how your stuff is. And plus, without competition, you'll become irrelevant eventually. So without competition, it's how could people want to know who you are without competition?
But then again, they took off Fortnite from the store, and the people that did get the Fortnite on their phones or through the Apple Store, they can no longer update it, right? And it's just they're basically cutting all ties with Epic.
Another thing, they on Android they got rid of it from the Google Play Store as well.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
With Androids, there's no Android games in the Apple Store. There's no Apple and Android store.
That's interesting. So do you think in the sense of marketing, do you think there is a certain line one can take? Like it's just that line you just cannot step over.
Yeah.
I mean, there always is a line.
Yeah, there's always a boundary.
Think about it like that. Just think about how many companies probably shut down because of them going over a certain line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So do you think they're going way too far with the blocking and the whole entire lawsuit?
I mean, probably because in one way you could see as blocking, but another way you could see as them trying to cover up something. Because you wouldn't really block out a game for no reason, especially if it's free.
Yeah.
Well,
Like it's a game that's free. If you had to pay for it, maybe, but it's free.
Yeah, it's free.
well, here's the thing. They kind of like broke the rules for Apple, so I mean, it kind of makes sense.
I mean, yeah, but
Like the term service that they signed to, they signed on it to get on the App Store in the first place. So and they broke it. So.
But then again, the people that did pay for like microtransactions, if you pay for anything on that, for Fortnite, if you paid for like another, you know what I mean, like an emote or a costume or whatsoever.
Yeah. They're just output stuff. Yeah.
And now it's blocked for you.
Yeah. See.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't get blocked because
no, it did. It just said that it got blocked. Clearly in the article right here.
Oh.
It said it. That's why. Like it's of that, and even updates. Like you cannot get an update.
Yeah, you can.
From the app.
But if you have a console, you can still access the account.
Yes, but we're not talking. Yes, that's the console.
But what if you don't have a console? And
not everybody will have. Yeah, not everybody will have.
What if you don't have a console and you're just playing on your Apple phone or Apple device?
Whereas,
you know, and that's another issue that's like, are you wrong for that? You know, and then again, like as I said before, with the delays, companies don't care about you. They only care about your money.
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
So like, oh, now I can't update my game. I can't play any. You know, I'm stuck with this.
Yeah.
And like, now the company's like, I don't care. I really don't care about. We're just right now. What we care about is how Epic treated us, right?
Yeah, they don't care about like how the people this is affecting them, or if they're even okay with it.
Yeah. So like, you just gotta think to yourself like, how can that be fixed? Like, what can be done? You know, to make them rejoin, if that makes sense. Because if you look at Marvel, right? Remember they got in a dispute in Marvel, and Spider-Man actually was going to be removed from Marvel, in the MCU.
Oh yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
And Tom Holland was actually the one that, you know, got them back together, right?
Yeah.
So like, how are we gonna retie this force? You know, these two block.
We're not doing anything.
No, not us. But like, what do you think could or what could help them like go back together?
Well,
because the way I see it, I don't think anything else could get better. I think
the only way that this can end is Apple just like telling them to just like pay the 30% thing and just like be done with it. That's the only way it can go. But Epic not having it, so they just don't.
Because the way I see it, it just it does not look good for Epic at all, right? Because it's their fault. They made a mistake, a big one.
Yeah. So then, based on the evidence so far in this article, it does seem like mostly, I guess, Epic's to blame, or is it? Let's see, because
It is. I guess it is Epic's to blame, but do you think it's a little bit too far of how Apple's doing it, or no?
No, I mean, it's reasonable.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, they broke the rules, so I mean.
Yeah, like I understand like that. I believe Epic, like something like CD Projekt Red. You know, CD Projekt Red, like they care for their players.
yeah,
You know, I think in a way Epic does care for their players,
Yeah.
yeah,
I guess they do.
but
Because they brought.
and I understand that they wanted to make a deal, right?
yeah. I guess to improve.
But the
their
thing is,
game.
they didn't get the approval from Apple, right?
Yeah,
And then they, in response to them being removed, they put out that video, or not that video, but they made that, you know what I mean, like the Macintosh.
Yeah.
yeah,
So then it's like you're now going back and forth at each other. That's not good sportsmanship, in a way.
yeah. Because that's not good competition.
Yeah, it's not good
It's-
competition.
Yeah, it's not really. So, like suing a big ass company like Apple, I don't think that's gonna solve anything. That's just gonna make it worse.
But then again, who do you think the players is going to side with?
That is true. Because some
Well,
people
but-
probably will get mad and side with Apple because Epic is gone, but some people might sue Apple because
I think most people are going to side with Epic.
probably.
Well, I would say most people are going to side with Epic for this one because Apple been doing some shady stuff on their app store. Not
Yeah,
gonna lie.
so probably and if that
Yeah,
happening,
but
that
we're
will probably
mostly-
help
we're
Apple with
mostly-
their case.
We're mostly applying this to the players of Fortnite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
When
most people,
when it comes to going to side, it usually depends on you.
because I think this whole issue is mostly going to just affect the players of Fortnite, and
Yeah.
it's just I don't know if it's going to get better or if it's going to get worse, and that's something that's like, if how far could this go? How far could this lawsuit go? Could this get worse and now move down the line like a virus to the consoles?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
I don't
I
think
see.
cons-
Console is a different story, okay?
Mhm.
Yeah, because, well, yeah, I guess I could see somehow. Because with consoles, they're like, damn, they're like big ass companies.
Because
that-
they're multi-billion, like
Yeah.
they have a lot of money.
So will you really see something like 343 Industry suing Microsoft because like they're only on the Xbox? No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you wouldn't see that happening. Or like Ubisoft like some Microsoft over just like limiting their let's see, Assassin's Creed Valhalla as
Uh-huh.
an example. Like you wouldn't see them like blocking out Assassin's Creed Valhalla from Xbox.
What if they get sued
You
for a
wouldn't see
lot of
that
money?
happening. But on the App Store, you might see something like that happening because Apple is like,
Because I mean, you'll see a lot of companies go bankrupt sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like look
Like,
at THQ Nordic, right? They go bankrupt, and Telltale went bankrupt, didn't they?
yeah.
I know Telltale did, but I don't know about THQ.
And like,
Because I know the last game they made was a remaster of SpongeBob.
and sometimes like they get revived, like Telltale got revived, right? And now they're making The Wolf Among
because
Us
it was
2.
from a different company.
Yeah, but then again, they got revived.
Yeah, I know. Like they did get revived, but it was because of the help of a company.
Yeah.
was able to get-
So like, it's like,
And I think Yeah, maybe that's why THQ was revived too. If it was bankrupt before, is because they got help of a company, and that's how, like, I guess companies can be revived, is from a help of another company that can help them support their financial issues with trying to make a game become popular. Yeah.
So how do you think? So, how rare is it for a company to go bankrupt?
I think it's very rare. That's like saying PlayStation may go bankrupt.
It depends on the size of the company.
Yeah, also depends on the size and what they do.
Yeah, that too.
Like, if they're like a small game studio, yes, easy. But if it's something like Ubisoft, then no.
PlayStation.
Yeah.
Well, not PlayStation.
Well, not PlayStation, but
No, but like Ubisoft and what other game companies are there?
there's Sony, Sega, Rockstar.
Yeah, that's like saying those can go bankrupt in an instant. Like, see, that's the thing with when it comes to gaming companies, they make sure to make all the right moves, or else their product isn't going to sell.
Yep.
And that's what released them to bankruptcy. And then it's just goddamn. You see, without making the right moves and decisions, that's where your company may go bankrupt. I think that was why Telltale got bankrupt the first time. Same with THQ. Yeah, it's like basically some. Anyone else have a comment on that?
Anyways, any thoughts on Sam Fisher being in Rainbow Six?
I'm I got really surprised that Sam Fisher's gonna be a Siege game. I mean, I then again.
So the review is like tomorrow, though.
Oh, I
I like it though because it's something good, and it also kind of indicates that maybe maybe a new Sam Fisher game may come out in the future. I don't know. Maybe. We had a new Crash game already. So maybe a new. Maybe a new Sam Fisher game may come out.
I mean, will you really want to see a new Sam Fisher game?
I mean, I feel like mostly the fans would want to see that. But
Yeah, I mean, I would want to see it, but well.
Alright, I'm back. What were we talking about?
Personally, I wouldn't want another Sam Fisher game if there was like.
Wow. That was weird.
Oh no, we're having some problems.
Snipe. I think Snipe is just like gone off the chat.
Well, we're actually, I think we're above time. I think we talked more than we really wanted to. Let me check. So we've been talking for 41 minutes and around 30 seconds.
Oh,
What happened there?
Okay.
before you, buddy. Oh, shut.
Boy.
Okay, well, I guess we'll just end it here. So,
All right.
thank you for joining in and watching our very first podcast.
The next one will be Siege Base.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll think about it. We'll think about it. But
there. Should we
again,
also at least like quickly say like at least not the next article, but at least things that are in the Epic Store at least.
yeah, go ahead.
What?
You
Alright, there are 2 free games in the Epic Store: Remnants from the Ashes, that's free, and also another game called Alto Collection. I myself am getting Remnant. So if you're interested in a shooting game or fighting game that has to deal with 4 people by yourself, it's Remnant from the Ashes in Epic Store. Or another thing that looks more like a single player adventure, you can get the Allo Collection. They're free this week from the Epic Game Store until the 20th of August.
Yep, make sure you guys go pick that up. Again, those are both worth $50. So make sure you go ahead and Well, not both worth 50, but it comes up to around $50. So again, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next week. Again, I was joined by Iron Warrior 20, Rip Combat 45, Sniper Ace 8215, and Ghost Roaster. All of their social medias will be down in the description. And if you guys want to check out the articles that we was reading from, you guys that'll also be in the description. Again, thank you for tuning in. See you next week.